Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are talking about one of my favorite little secret weapons in SQL, the IN operator. Seriously, if you've ever found yourself writing the same OR condition over and over and over again, and your queries just start to look like a complete mess, well, you are in exactly the right place. So let's start with a situation I'm sure you've been in. You're digging through a database, but you're not just looking for one thing. You have a whole list of items you need to find. So how in the world do you pull all that data at once without writing a monster query that's impossible to read? This is that classic challenge, right? You've got a database packed with information, and your job is to pull out very specific records that match a whole set of criteria, not just a single one. Let's make this super clear with an example. Okay, so imagine we have this simple products table. Nothing fancy, just an ID, a product name, and a category. Now, your boss walks over and says, "Hey, I need a list of all products in electronics, books, and clothing. Go." So what's your first instinct? Probably to start chaining together a bunch of OR statements, where category equals electronics, or category equals books, or you get the idea. I mean, sure, it works if you have 2 or 3 things. But what happens when that list has 10 items, or 20, or 100? It just becomes this tangled, unreadable mess. It's a real nightmare to maintain. And this is exactly where the IN operator swoops in to save the day. It's a much cleaner solution that was designed specifically for this exact problem. Just look at how much better this is. Instead of all those OR clauses, we just say, where category in? And then we give it a simple comma-separated list of all the values we're looking for. It's clean, it's clear, and it does the exact same thing as that messy query before. So how does this actually work? Well, it's pretty much what you'd expect. For every single row, the database just looks at the category value and asks, hey, is this value anywhere inside that list I was given? If the answer is yes, that row gets included in the results. It's as simple as that. But wait, there's more. The IN operator has another trick up its sleeve, and this is where it gets really powerful. It doesn't just have to be a list you type out by hand. The list of values can come from the result of a whole other query. To see how this works, let's bring in a couple more tables. First up, we've got a customers table. Super simple, just a customer ID and the city where they live. And second, we've got our orders table, which links an order ID to a customer ID. Now, let's say our goal is to find all the orders that were placed by customers from New York. We can actually solve this in 2 steps. The first thing we need is a list of all the customer IDs for customers who live in New York. And this query right here does exactly that. It gives us that list of IDs. And now for the magic trick. We can just take that first query, the one that finds all our New York customers, and embed it right inside another one. The outer query is grabbing the order IDs, but it's using the results of that inner query as its filter list. This is called a subquery, and it makes IN incredibly flexible for building these dynamic searches. So we've seen that N can do the same job as OR, but let's put them right next to each other to really appreciate the difference. I mean, this slide really says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you've got the OR version, and you can see how it just gets longer and more cluttered with every single item you add. But on the right, the IN version stays perfectly clean. The list is neatly contained, and you can tell exactly what the query is trying to do at a single glance. So here's the bottom line. As your list of values gets bigger, the readability of an OR statement just goes right out the window. But the IN statement stays just as clear. And this isn't just about making things look pretty. It's about writing code that you and your teammates can actually understand and maintain later. Oh, and here's a little bonus. For a lot of database systems, a clean IN clause can actually be optimized better than a long chain of ORs, so you might even get a little performance boost too. Okay, this is all a pretty neat technical trick, but where does it actually get used? Let's take a look at how the IN operator shows up every single day in everything from personal projects to huge businesses. We'll look at this on 2 levels. First, a really simple personal project just to make it relatable, and then we'll see how massive companies use this exact same tool for some of their most critical work. Let's say you have a digital shopping list and you've organized it by category. If you just want to see what's in your groceries and electronics lists, you could write a super simple query just like this one. It's a perfect everyday use of the IN operator to filter your own data. Now let's scale that way up. In the business world, the IN operator is everywhere.
Analysts use it to pull customer data from key sales territories, to filter products for a big marketing push, or to analyze performance across specific departments in the company. For example, a marketing team getting ready for a campaign in Chicago, Dallas, and Seattle could use this exact query to get a targeted customer list. It's fast, it's efficient, and it gives them exactly the information they need. All right, we have covered a lot of ground here. So let's take a second and boil it all down to the most important points. Okay, quick recap. At its heart, the IN operator is your go-to tool for filtering values from a list. This simplifies your code by getting rid of those long, messy chains of OR conditions. You can get even fancier by using a subquery in, which lets you filter based on the results of an entirely different query. And finally, in the battle of IN versus OR, IN is pretty much always the winner for clean, easy-to-read code. If you remember just one thing from this explainer, let it be this. The IN operator is your best friend whenever you need to check if a value matches anything inside a list. It just makes your SQL simpler, cleaner, and honestly, a lot more powerful. So I'll leave you with this question. Think about the queries you write every day. Where are you still using a bunch of ORs? How could you refactor those using IN to make them way more efficient and a whole lot easier to understand? Thanks for watching.